Is it hard to access affordable, healthy food? Then listen carefully. Daryl Addison, an African-American inventor, has patented a process for growing food on demand. He called it Torpedo Pot. Torpedo Pot is a fully automated flower pot that gives you control over your plant's environment. All you do is add soil, seeds, and plants to the flower pot and watch it grow. Yes, Torpedo Pot grows the rest. Visit www.torpedopot.com.
Yeah, and the other thing I noticed, when I first saw you is that I saw the big Rainbow Push Coalition, it said on your jacket. The first thing I noticed, I'm saying, wait a minute, that's Reverend Jackson's organization.
Yes.
So how did you get involved with the Rainbow Push Coalition? I've never seen anybody in Houston even talking about Rainbow Push Coalition. Matter of fact, some people I don't even know what it is, and the newer people, because they see a rainbow, they're thinking LGBT.
Right.
So tell people how you got involved with that.
Okay, it was interesting because Reverend Jackson was actually a fan from me being the accountability chair in Texas, holding these elected officials accountable, kicking doors, cutting up at the state capitol, cutting up at the national capitol, and especially when it comes to dealing with the George Floyd Act, how we did that big old call to action where we surrounded the capitol with all the slabs. They never seen nothing like that. And I had slab riders, the whole hood from the entire state of Texas surrounded that capitol. And we had George Floyd's baby's mother, sister, daughter, and all that. So he was a huge fan. So what ended up happening when we were fighting for the George Floyd Act here in Texas, and I will always keep the family, George Floyd's family, up to speed on the status of where we are. So when George Floyd's baby mom said, Dr. Matthews, I want you to come with me to the Derek Chauvin's trial in Minnesota. And I was like, all right, I'll go. So when I got there, and of course I had to be on the list of the Attorney General for that specific state in order to be in that building. We had to go through several, security checkpoints and things like that. So right when I finally walked up, I see Ben Crump. He's like, oh, Lord, they done brought the Texas Hammer in here. And I was like, oh, shut up, Ben. So then I go from Ben, and then right when I walk in the room, there go Congresswoman Jackson Lee, and there she's like, oh, Lord, Dr. Matthews, who didn't let her in? Then when Reverend Jesse Jackson saw me, he's like, you come sit right here. Him and Al Sharpton.
Okay.
So I go over there and I sat there with him. He say, Dr. Matthews, I follow your work. I really like what you're doing. He said, but I'm going to tell you this. Keep wearing that hat. I was like, yes, sir. So then, a couple months went by. I get a phone call. This was like in July, probably like 2 years ago. No, probably about a year and a half, right at 2. Okay, but it was in the month of July. And this is when we had all of the pastors that did a big old call to action on voting rights at our state capitol. So Reverend Jesse Jackson at that time had to go to France to receive that highest award.
Okay.
And so he called me. And, his voice is kind of raspy, so I thought somebody was playing on the phone because he was about to get cussed out because, I don't play with my phone, So when he turned around and he was like, Dr. Matthews. I said, who is this? And then he's like, this Reverend Jackson. I said, who? He said, this Reverend Jackson. I said, oh, hey, Rev, how you? I try to be all nice now. And he was like, I need you to take Bishop Grant around. I'm sending him down there because I'm not going to be able to be there because he was telling me that he was going to France. So when Bishop Grant came, and he's the national field director for Rainbow Push.
Okay.
So when Bishop Grant came down, and he was like, how this little woman, all these people is just scared of this little short woman with this cowboy hat. How is it that she has the influence, that she has? So after the march, we marched around, did all that good stuff, and Bishop Barbers, all of them that were here. And then we end up, I told him, I say, well, baby, I done did my job for the day. I'm going to Papados, and I'm headed back to Houston. And he's like, well, what's Papados? I say, oh, it's a nice, a little seafood spot I go to. I have my little certain little dish, my certain little drink, and I'm getting on by my business because I'm going to smoke me a cigar later. He was like, a cigar? He's trying to figure out, like, what's up? Yeah. So then he called me, and he said, Dr. Matthews, send me your location because I'm going to come meet with you over at Papados. I was like, all right, cool. So he came, and he sat down, and he was like, Dr. Matthews, let me tell you something. I'm very impressed with you. I'm very impressed with your work. And he said, we want you to run Texas for Rainbow Push. I say what now? I say, Bishop Grant, do you not realize what all kind of other hats I got going on here? You show, because I'm a little bit too raw. I don't know if y'all ready for me. He's like, no, you exactly what we need. And then that's when he took the pen off, and that's why I always keep it, and he gave me this pen. Mm-hmm. And he said, and once you in, and it ain't no getting out. I said, oh, this the mafia, huh? And then he just bust out laugh. We was just, playing around. Mm-hmm. And then I say, well, since you done gave me a pen, I'm going to give you an Oliva cigar, because that's one of my best smokes, and smoke it well and in good health. I say, we'll talk next week. And it's been on ever since.
Well, this is the thing. I'm glad that he did that. Because he was an older gentleman, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The problem that we have in our community is that the older people don't want to find the younger brothers and sisters out here to say, hey, y'all need to keep this work up. And they need more people that speak like you. And usually, for some reason, it's like the older generations are afraid of that. Like the way you speak, like, oh, Lord. It's like they get scared what white people are going to think. What the white people going to think? You can't talk like that. So you've been received. And pretty sure white folks probably, I know they respect you more. Because you're not willing to kiss the ring and shuck and jive for massa.
Right, because I'm self-financed. I don't need your money. Mm-hmm. So you can't buy me. I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to say it to you. And I meant what I said, and I stand on it. Because what has to happen is this, is that you need the wisdom of the elders, but you need the young people energy. That right there is what I really resonate with Common when he made that statement in that song, Glory. And I'm dead serious about that. And if they keep that mindset, we can get a lot done. A lot of people are afraid of giving up their position because they've been there for so long. Mm-hmm. And they have to understand, you have to train somebody else. You need a protege to pass on what you already have done. Because we stand on the backs of our ancestors. And we are our ancestors' wildest dream. And they got to understand that, again, we need your wisdom, but you need our energy. And that's how we're going to make change. Transformational change.
Yeah, because if you look at even Congress, right, the Senate, let's call it what it is. It's geriatric. Mm-hmm. We need, no matter what community you come from, you need the younger people to come in with new ideas. Like, that's why the country, in my opinion, is stagnated. Nothing can get done. It's because you don't have cohesion with younger people. It's like, and it's not just this country. I notice that all over the world, like that older generation,
they don't want to let go.
They want to, they like, I'd rather die in this position than let a little younger, man or woman come in and do the same thing. So my thing is, if Reverend Jackson then put you in this position, well, what is going to like even with the mentorship? Because even you, like, are you mentoring other young sisters to follow in your footsteps?
Yes, and that's exactly what I do, because I look at it like this. Is that in order for us to have transformational change, mm-hmm. you have to be able to mentor and bring others behind you. Because one thing that I agree with Reverend Jesse Jackson, the only time you look down on somebody is when you're pulling them up. And that is my motto. So if I'm looking down, that means I'm pulling you up. So when it's time for me to sit down, it's your time to stand up. That is the structural mentality that we need to have. As a people, we need to have that. Because even when you're dealing in the churches, they don't be wanting to bring the new pastors in. The old pastors want to be in there for the longest until they die, and they don't want to train the new pastors. And then they want to criticize the new pastors because they're not preaching that you going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. They trying to give you hope at the same time so you can do well and do better within your life. But that's not what we're getting.